Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. I'm gonna record a very quick update. We are finally seeing the retest that we've been talking about for the past 3 days. It took a while, but it came in, and now we are starting to assess what is going to be the actual bottom of this initial pullback. So if we look at the daily in here, at least when it comes to the daily, we are still far away from that 40.56. That will be the most bullish retest. That is currently priced at around 88.258. That's the price today. Now, if we focus on the price action, going into 88, that is still a higher low in that area. That is the good side, that retains the nature of the move, having up, down, higher high, higher low, and then ideally we want a higher high right after that. But we are breaking some other things. It's not all pink color with this move down, of course. For example, we are breaking above the 91,500, and potentially if today we close like here at 90 or below 90, we are producing a potential rejection from that level, a deeper one if you go below the 88K. We've been already above the 91,500. So to be very fair, it's not nice to see the price retracing back below that level. And that's something that happened around March in 2025. As you can see in that candle, we went above that resistance that was previous support throughout the year. And then we got a rejection that ended up bottoming around 74K. And we're talking about breaking above here almost at 95. From 95 to 74, that's 20K lower after a rejection of the new range. So it's not something that we take lightly in here. We are also inside the falling wedge, and at 90.5, we are at the bottom end. So we could be exiting again that falling wedge, which is also something that we do not want to see. Of course, all the bullish signals on the daily are still in. Nothing has broken yet. I'm just stating what are the ideal levels that we want to defend. Ideally, today we want to close above 91,500, and then we say, well, that was it. Nothing happened. If we go into 88 point something and we visit that 40.56 RSI in the chart, then gray area, right? We get a rejection, but we are still holding the most bullish support on the daily. So we can kind of get around that somehow. You can see that on the fair value gaps, we are starting to consume the brown levels. The fatty one in there, which is the recipe for speed, right? We've been covering that. Speed until when? Well, until 87.7, there can be similar speed as before. We already have speed in that area 3 times in a row. So if we enter that slippery area, we can expect something similar for a 4th time. Who knows? On the 4-hour, rejection of the neckline of 93.94, that is clear. Top of the range on the RSI is a local range, it's not the global one, which is at 84, but still we can see in here that there is damage at the moment on the 4-hour. And the damage is not just on the momentum that has retraced half of what it has made, but also we are losing the point of control. The point of control on the 4-hour was 91,500, give or take. Now we are below it. So we could potentially put the first 4-hour candle below that big level traded and be on the bearish side of that. And the first rejection was here at 91,500. The Japanese carry trade that sent us back down into 83. So, well, being below that, it can get slippery to the downside, just like the fair value gaps are also confirming. Interestingly, we got some pre-market prices that are in the positive on S&P. So I truly, to be honest, don't understand what is the fundamental today that is driving this downside on the price. The technicals, of course, we understand it, the technicals. We've been for days waiting for this to come in, but what specific data item is by itself potentially just dropping the price, no idea. And losing 90K is a big deal. It's a psychological level, so there has to be an explanation. I checked into the news and I found a few other things. I think today we were going to have some macro data. Well, I'll get into that in just a second. On CPR, well, we are below the pivots. It's not nice to be there, right? So yesterday we got bought up almost above that lower pivot of 92. Today we started there immediately, rejected into 90K. So, at this area is where we should produce wicks to the downside and ideally reclaim that 92 to come back inside the pivots to argue that we are still in the battle. But if we get an ugly rejection and if it's too substantial, then it can get a bit ugly, right? CPR, just to remind you, the next support is at 76. So, this sort of rejection, if it starts looking like confirmed, like a fully confirmed one, we put on the table that level there. Right, so liquidation levels, I think we already took everything on the short term. Let me switch this to short term, to scalping on BTC. All right, perfect. Don't forget that on Patreon there is currently a discount for yearly subscriptions, 40%. It's going to go back to 20% on the 1st of January. And that applies to memberships, right? That's not for the indicators. The indicators are sold separately, yearly, 6 monthly, 3 month. There was a sale up until the end of November. Unfortunately, that one is gone now. So liquidity short term. So we left on the table incredible amount of liquidity at 95. So I haven't seen anything justifying this from fundamentals. From technicals, we saw a lot of things. And we were waiting, and I even speculate last night that maybe we just stretch the hand, grab the 95, and then we do this. Well, we ended up just doing what I was expecting, but without taking the liquidity. And that, in a way, for the longs, for the bulls, that's something positive. It's kind of like you're leaving a mark there, saying, I'll come back here maybe later at another opportunity. We're on a Friday, so we are going to close the CME potentially if we continue going lower at a lower level, and that's going to leave a gap below if we have to come back to 95. Anyways, it gets interesting. I still think that this looks like a bull flag. So best case scenario for the bulls is that we just grab the sub 90 that is right there pending that 89 point something, and then we resume into 95. And I'm going to show you some potential, not proof, but something that supports that idea in a way. Nothing guarantees anything, but at 89,500 there is a 3K, and at 90 there is a 1.5. So together it's almost like 5K defending the 89. So if you push into that level, there is a small chance, right, that it holds, that the bulls defend the 90 in a decent way, and then we go back into 95. Just keep an eye on that. Still, we haven't cleared all the delta of the longs, so they are still exposed to 436K of liquidation levels close to the price. We haven't got any negative funding rates, and the longs haven't stepped in yet. So we are at 61, price is getting about to break below 90, and we still don't get the longs into the 70 that is needed. So maybe they're waiting for that liquidity to reduce a bit more. Maybe they're going to attack lower levels, 88 or something like that. Impossible to tell. I mean, if you're watching this video in this channel for the first time, do not get tempted to think that I'm here to forecast anything. I really don't have crystal balls. They're made of something different, and they certainly don't forecast anything. I'm here to see probabilities, understand scenarios, and make money. I'm here to make money. I'm not here to impress you that I can read the future, because I certainly can't. We got nothing really. I don't know what's going on. Perplexity was down. There was some websites down today, and I don't see anything that stands out like, yeah. We got fresh BTC news. JP Morgan reiterate a long-term BTC target on 170. That's pure crap. ETF and floor color. Yeah, there's a bit back and forward. It's very thin on the ETFs side at the moment. Macro backdrop last 24 hours. In the past day, macro has been relatively quiet on shocks. With commentary focused on the upcoming Fed decision. You know, it's just the usual. There's nothing special, particular standing out today to explain this. And hopefully by the end of Friday, we clear that liquidity in the lower end. And that was just the small hiccup that we were expecting, and nothing beyond that. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, the clarification. And hit the like, subscribe, and write down a comment down below. And I'm gonna go out now to get some food, and I'll see you later, possibly on another video if we get a big move. Hopefully not, but if we do, I'll be there for you guys. I'll see you later. Bye bye. Take care.